of 2024. The weekends, district's focus of these sessions has been primarily membership, but supporting the clubs and maintaining a strong digital presence is all part of having a good toolkit to be able to compete for members. We really need to have the tools to coordinate our members, share information, and reach the public and have a place to refer them to. I know that a number of clubs are going to be scrambling. My home club, the Kiwanis Club of Westfort and Thunder Bay, has been heavily invested in Portal Buzz over the years and have enjoyed the use of the digital tools, scheduling volunteers, having the website hosting, and capacity to store resources online. So we're scrambling and really looking forward to this evening's session. And I'd like to thank Bryce Kinder. Bryce, if not a familiar face, will be familiar to most of you who may have communicated with Bryce over his tenure at Kiwanis. Bryce is a member experienced technology engineer with the IT team at KI, and this is a new role that he took on in March of 2023 after 23 years experience with member services. And some of you may have come into contact over the years with Bryce in that capacity. Bryce's primary focus is to help us shape the digital tools so that they meet our needs, our club's needs, and fit for what we're doing in our communities. And so he is here to tell us what we have available to us and how to optimize them to our best advantage. So no matter what Bryce's role is as Kiwanis, he is here to support us, and I thank him for making the time this evening. Bryce lives in Franklin, Indiana, with his wife and daughter, and I'm glad that you could join us. I hope it's warmer down there than it is in Thunder Bay, Bryce, but thank you for spending the time this evening. I know there's going to be a lot of interest and a lot of questions.
And I appreciate the warm welcome. Thank you so much. And it's good to see everybody. Thank you for allowing me to share some time with you tonight to talk about a topic that I think is probably imperative to a lot of you. As Ken mentioned, there are probably some of you that are facing down the prospect of needing to create a new web presence online for your Kiwanis Club. And so we want to talk a little bit about what Kiwanis, the international office, has to offer you from a standpoint of resources, but also answer some questions. It's a good group of individuals tonight. I think we'll have time to answer specific questions that you have. And so I'm looking forward to spending this time and being able to hopefully send you away from this with more answers than you have questions as part of that. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. As Ken mentioned, a lot of familiar names and faces on this. And in the past, I probably have perhaps worked with you in a various capacity as part of member services. And Ken described it exactly right. My role as it stands with the IT department now is really to kind of serve as an advocate from the member and leader standpoint for technology that's created by Kiwanis International. So I feel like my time spent helping members at that level has allowed me to segue into this and still represent your needs and wants for the things that the Kiwanis International creates from a digital resource standpoint. And so it's very important that you feel supported in that mission. And so we're going to try to accomplish that goal as it stands tonight. Just a little bit about the format of it. I've got chat up here, so if you have questions as we go through, feel free to throw them in there. I will try to work them in organically as we go through, but I think we have designed some time at the end of this to actually have a Q&A, and I'll try to go back through any questions that have been unanswered, and perhaps we'll have time to open it up for the general forum to talk. Maybe unmute your mics at that point and we can talk through that. But again, I'll try to keep track of questions and answer them as they are appropriate within the kind of the presentation itself. So our agenda for tonight is really going to be very streamlined. We're going to start off by defining some terms. I find it's important, and it's been important. It's become very clear to me as we've talked about this matter of club websites and technology that is available to clubs, to really define what we're talking about, because something you might think is called one thing, I may think is called another. And so I want to make sure that we all are using kind of the same language when we talk about that, so that we're clear and everybody has an understanding of what we mean when we talk about certain resources. We'll move from that into talking about the free club websites that Kiwanis currently offers. There's a product that we make available to clubs at no cost. It's very easy to use, and we'll talk about the features of those. I'm sure many of you are online tonight because your club has or currently uses PortalBuzz as both their public website feature, and also uses it as a member management tool as well. And so we'll talk about that and leave time for some discussion about that also. And then again, we'll have some time built in at the end to talk about some common questions that I've heard as we've gone through and presented this, but also leave time for you all to ask questions as they come up. So starting off, let's define some of the terms that we're going to talk about tonight. First of all, obviously, I've already mentioned we're going to talk about the free club websites that Kiwanis offers. So Kiwanis currently offers a free website to any active club that's chartered, that's based or built on the WordPress platform. WordPress is very prominent and common within kind of the website platform itself. And so we have created an architecture of WordPress that allows us to create multiple sites from that we can leverage and provide features for clubs that has absolutely no cost to the clubs themselves. And so that'll be one item that we talk about. Kiwanis.org, that's the organization's public facing website. So Kiwanis.org, if you go to the website there, you'll see information about the organization. There's some resources as a club officer or even as a general member that you might find on there. And so we might talk about that, or you might hear us talk about that. Kiwanis Connect. So many of you have probably in the past or are currently a club officer for your Kiwanis club, or you might be a district officer as well. And you probably are familiar with Kiwanis Connect. Kiwanis Connect is the current reporting site where club officers and district leaders can go in and manage their membership, adding and removing individuals, updating member data, submitting monthly reports, pulling off invoices for dues and things of that nature, submitting officers and club information, things of that nature. And that is Kiwanis Connect. That's currently the reporting site. You might also call that the secretary dashboard as well. And so we'll definitely be talking about that, because we'll also be talking about Kiwanis Engage. And Kiwanis Engage will be the replacement for Kiwanis Connect. This will be the new reporting site that we create. It's being built upon Salesforce, which, if any of you are familiar kind of with the member or association management industry, Salesforce is a huge player in that industry. And so we are currently smack dab, or I'd say probably further along we're further towards the end than we are at the beginning of building out Kiwanis Engage, and that will replace the Kiwanis Connect reporting site. We anticipate that will launch in Q3 or Q4 of 2024 this year. And we'll talk more about Engage in a little bit, because it definitely plays a part in kind of your understanding of what Kiwanis can provide, comparable to other third-party services. So keep Kiwanis Engage kind of in mind as we move forward through the presentation. And then Portal Buzz. Obviously, we've talked about Portal Buzz, or we've mentioned it already. Portal Buzz is a third-party platform that is owned and operated by an outside company called Aplos Software. It has in the past and currently still does have partial integration with the Kiwanis database. So that allows for Portal Buzz to go and grab member data from the Kiwanis database in an authorized fashion and then update it on Portal Buzz. And so you see a reconciliation and membership information between the two systems. And if your club is a subscriber to Portal Buzz, you've probably received several pieces of communication in the last 4 months that indicates that Portal Buzz has decided to close its business as of the end of February of this year. And so we'll definitely be talking about that. But again, those 5 kind of entities there, the Free Club website, Kiwanis.org, Kiwanis Connect, Kiwanis Engage, and Portal Buzz, want to make sure that we all understand kind of what that means, because sometimes one thing's conflated with another. And so it's just important that we all have an understanding of kind of the general terms that we're discussing. So let's talk about these free club Kiwanis Club websites that Kiwanis currently offers. So before I delve into that, what you see on screen here is an actual indication of what the Kiwanis club and district websites look like. We have, again, provided a platform for clubs to have an online public face for their clubs. And we've created it to be as streamlined, as easy to manage, and as functional as possible to clubs so that they can be creative in the way that they market their club information online. And we'll talk about some of those features tonight. Do want to kind of call out, we talked about Kiwanis.org, and we feel so strongly about the WordPress architecture and the way that WordPress works and the functionality and features that it provides that we've actually built the organization's website, Kiwanis.org, on the WordPress platform as well. That's how sure we feel about it, how stable and secure it is. And so the organization's placed its trust in that WordPress platform, and we're seeing some great benefits to that from moving it off of a past platform in August of last year. Some of the reasons why we like WordPress and why we've leveraged it for the Kiwanis.org website is it provides a better search functionality. You know, there's so much information on the Kiwanis.org website. I'm sure you all have kind of run into this. There's a wealth of information on there, which is good, but sometimes that can be difficult to find. And so WordPress has provided better enhanced search architecture for you to be able to find that information. It's more secure. WordPress, obviously, because it's so prominent, it's been tested and it's been vetted. Now that also means that it's been subject, it's probably being tested on a more regular basis because more groups and more organizations and individuals use it. But that's good. The more you kind of kick the tires on something, I think the more functional it is. And so this is a platform that is tested, it's tried and true, and it provides better security from our standpoint and what we've done from a research stance. It's got a cleaner design, so this has allowed us to make sure that the website is modern, it's clean, it's easy to find. It follows best practice from a design standpoint. We want to make sure, because the Kiwanis.org website serves as both a public face to members and to non-members, individuals that aren't familiar with Kiwanis, we want to make sure that it's inviting and that it's easy to kind of get around as part of that. And again, it's just simpler. It's simpler to maintain. It's simpler looking. It's simpler in its design. And so all of those things are kind of the reasons why we ourselves have moved the organization's website to there. And we've been able to leverage some of those in the structure of the club websites that we offer as well. So why did we do it? Why did we decide to offer a solution to clubs? We could obviously kind of stay out of that environment and just point clubs to get third party or off the shelf web platforms. But we've made some strategic decisions to offer these offer this kind of resource to clubs. And so what are the reasons for that? Obviously, we want to help clubs provide a good looking public face online. If you're anything like me, creativity and creating a professional looking website, that is not necessarily my forte. So any help that I can get as part of that is going to be advantageous to us. And so we've created something that requires minimal knowledge of kind of best practices and design theory and things like that. We've done that to make it as easy as possible for clubs. We know clubs use their websites to attract members, and so we want to make this as easy as possible to as many clubs as possible. There are some clubs that still don't have websites, and we want to kind of remove all the barriers that are there for those clubs so that they can attract new members through an engaging website. We want to lower the cost. Obviously, Portal Buzz and other third-party groups, whether it be Club Runner or Club Express, any of those, they will work based off of a subscription model, and you pay that. And for some clubs, that amount is okay, and for other clubs, they don't want to pay that money. They want to put that money into other uses, maybe for service and things like that. We feel like clubs should be able to have an online presence at no cost. And so we've made the commitment to provide that to clubs as a resource, simply using, the dues dollars that clubs are already paying, members are already paying. We feel like that's a benefit that we should provide to clubs as part of that. We wanted to provide a resource that has a small or shallow learning curve. So again, if you're anything like me, I don't know a lot about creating a website and integrating certain things in it. So as part of the creation process and, building these out, we wanted to provide something that made it very easy for you to leverage other tools you might already be using. So whether that's Google Calendar or Facebook or other integrations that you might have or other pieces online, we wanted to make that available so that you could pull in some of that information and you wouldn't have to learn multiple systems as part of that. Again, we feel like dues dollars obviously is a big conversation going on both last year and this year with the proposed amendments that are going before delegates at the International Convention. I'm sure as members, we all feel like the amount that we want to make sure that the amount that we're paying has a return on investment, and so we feel like as a service to our members that this is something that's a priority enough that we want to provide that to clubs so that they don't have to spend any more money. The dues amounts that they're paying to us, we want to show that there's value in what's being given as part of that. So we see it as a service to members. And then again, just to make this easy for folks, once you set up a website, that's a project in and of itself. But to continually maintain it, that's something, that's over and above that. And so we wanted to create a resource that would be easy to maintain and keep going because you all have lives outside of your volunteer connections. And so we wanted to make sure that it was easy to keep on going. So what is it? Just very quickly, as we've talked about, free, simple, professional, easy to use. All of those terms are relevant. We offer clubs and districts the ability to set up websites. We also have some club and district foundations that have set up websites as well. And so any of those entities, we will spin up a site for them as part of that so that they can use that as a tool to continue their mission in their community, helping children, providing support and service within their communities. And so it's a means to an end as part of that. And it's created for clubs by Kiwanis. So one of the things, when you get into third-party subscription platforms is that's a company providing you something that they provide to other customers as well. And it's important to remember that the Kiwanis Free Club websites, our only customer base is Kiwanis members. So the needs that you have, the feedback that we receive, that's all coming from Kiwanis. And so that was that's kind of been our strategy for that is creating things that are specifically geared towards Kiwanis members and Kiwanis clubs, Kiwanis districts, and what they need. So important. We've talked about what it is, and why we've done it. Let's talk about some of the key features that are provided as part of that. So I'm just going to put them up on screen here. I won't go through every single one, but just a couple of highlights there. Obviously in this day and age, most people are interacting online through a mobile device rather through their desktop. And so any website that you have needs to be mobilely responsive, needs to scale according to what the device is. And so with these sites, it certainly does that. It will look as fresh and clean and functional on your phone as it will on a desktop or on a tablet or anything like that. It'll do that. You can see some of the branding and logo options that you have there. Functionally, we've made sure that we have features that allow you to integrate a calendar, to accept payments, to have a forms set up for various use and things like that. Security and maintenance, obviously, we've talked about that already. Education and training, very important. It's not just enough for us to give you this resource, but we feel like we need to support it well as also. And so we've created tutorials and seated volunteer trainers in each district to try to help with that as well. And then again, we talked about some of that integration with social links and things of that nature. Who runs it? Obviously we've talked about kind of the lift, the bandwidth you might have as clubs, club leaders and club volunteers. Well, nominally, each of the clubs, foundations, and districts control their sites. Now, when we talk about that, there's some very specific responsibilities that a club might have. KI will handle provisioning the site, meaning we spin it up and provide you the domain, the login information for your webmaster or webmasters, and then we provide training. We handle infrastructure and security. So if there are updates that have to be made to the underlying architecture or the plugins, we handle all of that. We take all of that stuff out of your hands. You don't have to do that part of it. Really, where the clubs and districts are most responsible is populating content on their websites. So whether that's having text information on there, whether that's having forms plugged in for folks to donate or sign up for things, whether that's for having a calendar, keeping their calendar updated, putting, gallery pictures on there and things like that. That's where the club's responsibility really comes into play, is putting the content and keeping the content updated and fresh on there. So just a little bit more about the club features. Each club website, free club website that comes from Kiwanis, has a forms integration that comes free. It's very robust, and it'll allow you to do a lot of different things as part of this. And so the form aspect would allow you to do things such as a membership recruitment form. So if you send prospective members to your website and you want them to fill out some information, maybe an interest form for you to follow up with them on, or maybe it's maybe it's an application itself. You can set up that through the forms integration that we have there. You could set up a donation or event form. So let's say you have a celebration dinner and you're selling tickets to the public for it. You can set up an order form for that event sign up form, and you can integrate payment with that and collect payment. Or if you're just taking donations from the community, you can set that up as well, and take payment that way. Also, we have 3 payment processors that you can integrate into our forms. That would be PayPal, Stripe, and Square. And so we do provide some flexibility in the online payment processor that you use, integrated into that. You can also set up forms to sell items. Let's say that your Kiwanis Club sells holiday wreaths during the winter holiday. You can actually set up an order form. You can set up inventory in the background so that if you only have a limited quantity, you can sell that. And once it hits that number, you sell out of them. And so you can do a lot of creative, engaging things with the form integration as part of that. Again, we talked about social media integration. You can integrate your Facebook, your club's Facebook page feed into your site, and it will dynamically update as you post things on your Facebook page. It will dynamically update that on your website so that people can just kind of go to your club website and kind of one-stop shopping. They can see everything that's going on with your club as part of that. Calendar integration. Again, we've provided an integration with Google Calendar. So if you're maintaining a calendar through Google's suite of items and you're using a calendar, you can create and maintain events there. And with the integration that we have to set up through the sites, that information will dynamically update on the club websites as well. So I've given you the whole spiel about what the free Kiwanis Club websites are, a little thinking about why we did it, how it's maintained, and some of the features that you've gotten. Without discussing, any more, maybe your club's at the point where they're like, you know what, I'm convinced we're going to go ahead and sign up for it. Or maybe after thinking about it a while, you decide, okay, we do want to go ahead and sign up for the club's the club site. How do I do that? It's a very simple process. So first, you want to determine who's going to be the point person for your club. Nominally, who's going to be the webmaster. Now, when we talk about the webmaster, we don't expect for your club just to have one person that's doing this, and that's the only person that has access. Sometimes that's what happens, but we don't expect you to do that. So, but we need one person to kind of be the leading edge of that, and then you'll be able to add users after you have access that will allow them to get in and edit the site as well and things like that. But we need you to choose who's going to be that first person, that first contact to serve for the site. Then we're going to have you complete we're going to have you complete a site request form, which I'll show you a link to here in just a second. Site creation probably takes at this time with the volume that we're handling 3 to 5 business days. It could be shorter. We've normally shoot for 48 hours, but again, with business days, and then also just because we've seen an uptick in site requests since PortalBuzz has made this announcement. I would say 3 to 5 days is probably a good average time as part of that. Once that happens, a district trainer, if your district has one, will contact the club webmaster and just let them know, hey, this is my information. We'll also provide this information to you when we spin up your site and kind of give you a handshake so that you know who that person is. And then both the district trainer and Kiwanis will support you. Again, we've created a website training site that it has modules on there that will take you through kind of step by step on how to set up certain things and how to do certain actions. We have a YouTube site that has some educational videos on how to do things as well. And so really, once we spin up the site, both Kiwanis staff, and then if you have a district trainer as well, those groups of individuals will be there to support you as you kind of go through that. So if you're interested in signing up for a site right now, or as we present on this, you can take your camera on your phone and scan the QR code that shows online there, and that will take you to the online website form. Or you can go to that shortened website, which I will put in the chat here towards the end so that you have that. But either the QR code or the shortened URL there will take you to the online request form. It'll ask some very brief information, what your club name is, what the club key number is or club ID is, who the website administrator is going to be. Very short form. Doesn't take much for us to sign up that or get you signed up for that site as part of that. So very easy process. So let's talk about PortalBuzz discontinuation. I'm sure that this is probably going to be where most of the questions come up as part of that, and probably will be where a good part of our discussion lies. So obviously, as we've stated, PortalBuzz is going to be closing February 29th of 2024. Just as an aside, Kiwanis was kind of shocked by this as well. It was our understanding that PortalBuzz was happy with where they were at within kind of their Kiwanis business. And so we didn't realize that they were going to kind of close that down. But obviously, businesses have different choices they have to make, and so they made that business decision. And so PortalBuzz notified us shortly before the time that they notified all their subscribers that they would be closing after February 29th of 2024. So March 1st, if you go out to your PortalBuzz subscription, if your club does subscribe to PortalBuzz, you will no longer be able to access it. So as part of that, it's really been our focus these last 4 months in September to really tell clubs, hey, there's a free club website feature that your club could use that would replace the club website feature that you have through PortalBuzz as part of that. Doesn't cost anything at all. And so depending on what features you use on PortalBuzz, a lot of clubs were just using PortalBuzz for the website aspect of it. And so we wanted clubs to know, hey, we have a resource there that will serve for that if you'd like it. So we feel like using the WordPress sites that we offer, along with the member management capabilities of Kiwanis Connect currently, and then Kiwanis Engage in the future, we feel like clubs will ultimately be able to achieve almost all the functionality that they have through PortalBuzz. Now, we're going to see a lot of enhancements that really only come into play once Kiwanis Engage launches. And so that might be part of the conversation tonight is what do we do during that gap period of time? And those are certainly valid questions that we can talk over. But I want clubs to keep in mind that once Kiwanis Engage goes live, you will be able to do probably 97, 98% of what you can do in PortalBuzz through either the WordPress sites, or you'll be able to do most of those features through a mixture of the WordPress sites and Kiwanis Engage as part of that. And for free, Kiwanis Engage will be free, just like the current reporting site is. So there will be no cost to clubs to utilize the member management aspects of the reporting sites online and use the WordPress sites as part of your public facing website as part of that. One of the important things to remember is that our commitment to Kiwanis Engage and to the WordPress sites is to continually enhance them as well. We've been doing that with the WordPress sites. There are a couple of different features that we're looking to try to implement within the next couple of months that will make the WordPress sites more functional. And then we're going to keep enhancing Kiwanis Engage after we launch it so that there's more and more features as part of that. One of the knocks, I guess, or one of the criticisms that I've heard from clubs in the past about PortalBuzz is they liked a lot of its functionality, but it didn't seem to really be updated very often. It kind of stayed the same. It hadn't had real enhancements. It looked kind of dated and things like that. And you may feel that, or you may have been happy with PortalBuzz, but I can tell you from a Kiwanis standpoint, our technology will continue to grow and evolve as part of that. Coming out of tonight's conversation, no matter what you do, whether you decide you want to go with Kiwanis's website platform or you want to go through a third party, platform, and we're here to support you in any case. But no matter what you do, we want to make sure that each club that subscribes with PortalBuzz now realizes that they need to download all of their stored files or stored assets that they have on their PortalBuzz site no later than February 29th, 2024. I would not wait until 29th, because I imagine as we get closer to that date, PortalBuzz is going to have more and more requests to help with that. But at the very least, you want to make sure you get that information off of there. If your club is like many others that I've talked to, you probably have years and years of assets on there, newsletters, club files, things of that nature. You don't want to lose that information. And so make sure that you download that off of your PortalBuzz subscription, even if you're not sure what your club's going to do in the aftermath of PortalBuzz as part of that. You can do that one of two ways. You can, as I've indicated there, you can email them at support@portalbuzz.com and they will provide you a zip file of all your documents. They have also installed an export button on your documents page of your PortalBuzz site that allows you to do it right from there. You click that, it'll download it into a zip file, and you have it right from there. So they've made that feature possible as well. But again, no matter what you do and no matter how you do it, make sure that you get that information off of there. I would hate to think that a club would lose a ton of historical information that they might want members still to be able to access because they didn't download that information as part of that. So I've thrown a lot of resources out at everybody tonight, and whether it's Kiwanis Connect, Kiwanis Engage, PortalBuzz, the free club websites. We have a nice consolidated kind of comparison sheet that we've set up that will show you the features that you can find on each of the different systems. So if you, again, use your camera to scan that QR code, or you can go to that shortened URL there, it'll take you to just a one sheet that shows you kind of the different features that each system has, or that we anticipate it'll have, especially in the instance of Kiwanis Engage, which isn't live yet, but we know exactly what we're going to have as part of that as well. So you can kind of see, okay, here's what I can do with each system as part of that. So common questions Q&A. We're almost through, and we'll have plenty of time to answer questions as part of our time together tonight. But let me just bring up some questions that I have heard from folks that kind of come up again and again as we've talked over the last 4 or 5 months. So, can your club have its own domain name? Let's say you're Kiwanis Club of Main Street, and you have a domain that you've been provided, which is KiwanisClubOfMainStreet.org. Can you continue to use that domain name? You sure can. So clubs can purchase or register a domain through a domain register service, whether that's GoDaddy or AWS, Bluehost, any of the myriad number that do it. You can purchase a domain name, and then you would set up what's called domain forwarding in the administration panel of your domain provider. And what that does is that means that if somebody types in KiwanisClubOfMainStreet.org, it's going to take them to the Kiwanis website that we set up for you as part of that. So that allows you to still use it's considered kind of a vanity URL, meaning it's a lot easier for folks to remember. It's prettier when you put it on marketing and stuff like that. And so, a lot of clubs try to leverage that, and we don't need you. We don't want you to have to, give that up and use kind of the clunky URL that we're going to provide to you. Somebody asked in the chat, do you need to have a domain name to start? No, you do not. We'll provide you. I mean, the site that we spin up for you will have a domain name. It'll be your club number .site.kiwanis.org. And if you're okay with that being the URL that you give to folks when you want them to visit your site, that's certainly fine. Most clubs want to have something that's pithy or that's kind of memorable, and so they pick out something that's that's more easily remembered. That's kind of the benefit to that. That's probably where your one true cost for having a Kiwanis Club website will be. Is if you register a domain, you're probably going to have the cost to do that. And I think it's probably anecdotally maybe $15 to $20. That's US. So probably not a great much more in Canadian as part of that. But the expense, that's annually. So the expense isn't real great. But if you don't want a custom domain, you don't have to have one. We'll create a site for you and give you the domain right off the bat. So that's certainly not a prerequisite to getting one. Clubs have asked, can we install our own plugins as part of this? Unfortunately, no. The architecture that Kiwanis has set up is we maintain or we own kind of the underlying WordPress instance. We run a multi-tenant instance, which means that we have an underlying structure, and then we can spin up individual sites from that. And because of that, we have to be very careful about we have to be very careful about the plugins that we install. We need to vet them. We need to make sure that they're secure, that they're stable. We don't want to install a plugin based on a certain number of clubs' needs and then find out that that plugin is going to crash 1,000 clubs' websites or whatnot. And so we're very strategic and very defined about the integrations that we offer. Let me backtrack a little bit. When I've given this talk before, I always kind of assume that everybody knows what a plugin is. So let me define what a plugin is. A plugin is basically an integration program between two different platforms. So let's say, for instance, we talked about being able to integrate your Facebook feed into your Kiwanis websites. Well, that's done by virtue of a plugin, application that you can plug into your website that integrates the WordPress site with, in this instance, Facebook. And so when we talk about a plugin, just think about it as a bridge between two systems as part of that. And so there are a lot of clubs. WordPress offers lots of different plugins, integrations that allow you to do lots of nifty things. But because of the architecture that we maintain for the sites, we have to be very careful about what we install. And so that responsibility remains with Kiwanis. We aren't able to allow clubs to install their own plugins just from a performance standpoint. We are always looking at new integrations, though, so that we can enhance the features. So if you have one that you're like, hey, this looks like it would really be good, feel free to email it to us and we'll be happy to research it. If it meets the needs of enough people, if it's performative and stable and secure, we will strongly look at installing it. And so that doesn't mean we won't always enhance that, but we do have to be careful about the ones that we give. So Roland in the chat indicated, assume that KI is hosting these sites. Yes, the sites are all stored within our server, and so all the storage is in our own tenant. There's no cost to a club. There's no cost to a club to increase storage that they have for their site. Our sites are structured so that the storage needs will grow and contract dynamically as they're needed. And so there's no cost associated with that for the club. Truly, the only cost that you might see would be if, again, you register a custom domain, or if you have a form that's integrated with a payment processor. That payment processor, like PayPal or Stripe, they may charge you a transaction fee. And so that might be something, but you'd have that with any system that you might have. So can we have more than one administrator or editor? And I kind of alluded this to a little bit. Absolutely. If you request a site, we will spin that up for you. We'll provide the person that filled out the form and indicated they were going to be the website administrator. We'll provide them with access, and then they have the ability through their dashboard to add other users. And there are several different levels of user role that you can provide. You can make somebody else an admin. You can give them editor status. You can just make them a subscriber. And so we don't expect you to do it all on your own. We want you to involve other people in your club. And by the way, that's a best practice as well. It's never a good idea for one person to hold the keys to everything. And so if you have a site created, whether it's this site or whether it's somebody else's site, give a couple of people access so that if you win, you come into a great inheritance and you're like, hey, I'm going to live in Tahiti and I'm not going to, be connected to the club anymore, although you can be remotely now, I guess. So that doesn't quite come into play. But, if you suddenly leave or the person leaves, that way somebody else has access to it as well. But you can definitely do that with the Kiwanis sites also. And then the last question I've seen a lot of, and we kind of touched on this a little bit, is there a limit to what we can post on our website? Is there a limit to the kind of assets that we can put on there, whether it's pictures or files or documents, anything like that? I would say no, with an asterisk maybe. So right now, storage will grow and recede as club sites need them. So we don't state a cap or a maximum on that sort of thing. But we do ask clubs that to be mindful about the fact this is a shared environment. All of our clubs are sharing kind of the same server storage as part of that. And so if we can all be respectful of that, and kind of keep that in mind as we're storing things, that'd be very helpful. Pictures, files, documents, things like that, short videos, links to embedded YouTube videos and things like that, that's great. If you have a 4-hour movie saved in 4K on your computer and you want to post that to your club website, you might rethink that a little bit because that's probably going to drive up that storage somewhat. So currently, there's no maximum storage space as part of that, as long as we can all partner together to kind of keep that manageable as part of that. So, can you add videos to the site? You can. Again, you want to be mindful of kind of their size. If you have them posted on YouTube, you can you can put the YouTube, you can embed the YouTube video right there on the site. And so rather than it being stored on the website itself, it's just pulling that from YouTube. So that's a good way to do that as well. Somebody, Roland mentioned that as well. Could your club put a YouTube video and its URL on there? You definitely can. So a lot of those video sites like Vimeo and YouTube, they give you embed codes and things of that nature so that you can insert or embed those videos on your site without having to store them directly on there. But if you have a video that you took at a club function or something like that and you want to post it to your site, that's great. I think a short 15-20 minute video is not gonna create a bunch of server bandwidth issues. Again, it's going to be kind of those huger file sizes as part of that. So are we allowed to upload our own rotator pics on the page headers? We do have a gallery editor that you can put in there that allows you to do a couple of different things. I think a carousel is one of those. The page headers, they don't allow you to put a rotating banner at the top where it kind of cycles through pictures as part of that. And that's just because we have a specific theme that we've created for all of the sites that is somewhat locked down. So it has some limitations to it. And so that's something that you'll want to keep in mind as part of that. You can put obviously different header pictures on each page. You certainly can do that. But from a standpoint of kind of rotating them through, that's not currently available. So great questions coming in as part of this. Who is our first line of tech support, KI or the district trainer? And I will tell you, I was remiss in checking to see if the Western Canada District has a current trainer named. I don't know if anybody on the call knows. Ken or Joanne, are you aware? Or Terry, maybe you know?
It's Dennis Dahl.
Okay, great. Dennis,
yeah.
Former district secretary and been with the district for a while. So, okay, he's still serving in that capacity. I know Dennis had moved a little bit, but obviously
he's in Portugal.
Okay. Is he
as far as I know,
as
far as I know, we do not have a district trainer assigned to us. Dennis is in Portugal, so Terry, do you know something I don't? But talk to me later.
I will say in that instance, we are in the next month or so going to be reaching out to each district to try to first confirm whether a district trainer has been in place. Some have given us those names and then they've changed over time. And some, maybe couldn't serve in that capacity or whatnot. So I would say probably to this group until the district has one set in stone, and then that can be communicated out to the clubs. Contact Kiwanis International and we'll be your first line of support as part of that. My contact information is going to be here at the end of the presentation, so you can certainly take that, but reach out to us and we'll be happy to help you with those questions as part of that. So yes, so will we offer training or links to generic WordPress, or we do have trainings for how to do things within our own WordPress instance. That's probably a good segue into just kind of talking about the fact that obviously there's, as just a regular customer, you could go and sign up for a WordPress site directly from WordPress. It would cost you money. You'd have to pay something probably, but you'd have a lot more administrative access. It would be a lot more complicated, and you'd have a lot more features, but it really would give you it would be like the whole kit and caboodle. Well, one of the good things about Kiwanis's WordPress offering is we've streamlined all that product or that process, and so our trainings are specific to our WordPress instance. They'll show you how to do things within the club website structure that we've set up as part of that. So if you do general WordPress training, you might see, oh, I can do this or that, and then not see that within the Kiwanis environment. And there's a reason for that, because we've tried to make it digestible for every skill set. If you're just somebody starting out, it'll be easy for you. And if you're somebody that has some WordPress or just feels comfortable with websites, it'll be usable for you as well. So let's see. So let me finish with these couple of QR codes, and then we'll maybe open it up for discussion and talk about a couple of other questions that have come up specifically about PortalBuzz. So we've got a website set up that has a bunch of different club website resources. You can find that through that QR code there, or through the shortened website link at the bottom. And I think, Joanne, will we provide this slide deck to everybody that has attended? Okay, so I'll provide this to Joanne, and she can communicate that out to everybody. If you need that, you'll have that available. Again, that link to request a site, you can do directly from this form. Either scan that with your form or go to the bit.ly site there as well. And then we'll move into kind of open Q&A. Lots of good questions coming through, and so want to make sure that we hit those, but also that we have time to open it up to general conversation as well. So let me start off by somebody asked the Google Calendar, can it be integrated so that you have kind of volunteer management functions that you have with PortalBuzz? I would say somewhat. So the Google Calendar integration will obviously allow you to display when your events are occurring. Any kind of sign up that you would have for individuals signing up for a volunteer space or something like that, you would most likely do with that forms integration that I talked about. We use a service called Gravity Forms, very robust service. It's tightly integrated in with your club websites. And so probably what you could do is on the event itself, you could put a link to the form. And so if somebody clicked on that event on your calendar, they could click on the link and it would take them into the sign up form itself. It's not going to be directly like the member management style feature that you have on PortalBuzz, but you can still achieve some of the same things. Having said that, when Kiwanis Engage launches, we do expect to offer a service and volunteer hour tracking system, so attendance tracking, things of that nature. So you might see that as part of the Kiwanis Engage, a feature like that in Kiwanis Engage as well. Remember, member management functionality will all be handled. You won't have that sort of functionality on the club website, the free club website, because that's really kind of for marketing your club. And any of the member management features are really going to be under the reporting sites, Kiwanis Connect, and then Kiwanis Engage as part of that. So, just to summarize that, you could on your Google Calendar event, you could have the event shown, and then in the event information have a link to the form. Somebody could click on that form, and it would allow them to sign up to volunteer for that. So I would say, once you get into that, once you're trying to set that up, if you need help in trying to figure out a creative way to do that, let us know and we can kind of suggest that as part of it. It's probably hard for me to kind of describe how that would act without having kind of a site up for us. But I definitely think that there are ways to achieve that. And that's kind of true with all of the features of PortalBuzz. There's probably creative ways you can do it that you can achieve the same thing, that aren't the exact same, but they can get you to the same end goal itself. So, yeah. Somebody mentioned, you could use a sign up form. I have seen that. I actually saw that on the club website today. They use a third party kind of event planner called Sign Me Up, or forget what the system is, but they have a link to that, and it just takes the visitor to that, and they can do the sign up directly from here. So that's definitely a way that you can do that as well. So
Probably Sign Up Genius or signup.com.
it could be, yeah. And there's several of them as part of that. And again, we're looking at some event management plugins that will work directly with the website. As I mentioned, we're looking at enhancing things as we go along. So while it might not be there now on the current site product that we have, we're definitely looking at how we can improve features on that also. So I think I answered all the questions in the chat. Maybe we can unmute ourselves, or if there are other questions that you have, either about what I presented or Portal Buzz functionality. Nobody's brought up, and I'm hesitant to bring it up myself, but nobody's really talked about Member Day, which is a product that I think is being marketed to some previous Portal Buzz users. So if anybody has a question about that, I can certainly answer or try to address those. But what sort of questions or concerns might you have that I can try to answer for you? I think we still have 18 minutes or so. We've got another 15 or so for questions. Is that right? Or no? Are we almost at time, Joanne?
We're fine. I told people
Okay,
an hour, up to an hour and a quarter, but of course I control the Zoom, so
sure.
It goes as long as we want.
You're the gatekeeper.
Okay, sure. What questions or concerns might you have in regards to what I've talked about, or again, if you're a Portal Buzz subscriber, concerns that you have as that we approach the sunset of that system?
Yeah, I have a question on technical support. I saw that I'm from Western Canada with Northmount, and Dennis Dahl used to be with WeCan and providing website support. So for website technical support, then the best person would be somebody at KI?
Correct. I'm going to put information in to the chat right here.
Okay.
And probably, if anybody, it's probably just as well for you to reach out to me, and I will either answer those questions directly myself, or I will involve one of our other team members to answer them for us. But we are committed to trying to get quick answers back to you. And so we will definitely try to do that. And likely we've heard those questions before as well, so we might be able to answer them very quickly, just because others may have had the same issue also. And so feel free to reach out to us.
Yeah, I downloaded the about, I don't know, 5 days ago, and I've been populating the pages, and it's been going quite well. But there's a few little technical glitches on one of the pages displaying a PDF. It runs off the end of the footer page. So yeah, the fellow that I emailed at KI, IT guy, I forget what his name is.
Be Tom or Jeff, probably.
Sorry?
Tom or Jeff, Tom Costanzo or Jeff Benevolio.
I think I talked to both of them already.
Oh, okay, sure.
Ignoring me.
Well, there you go. Always best that more people contact you than not enough. So yeah, that's definitely something we can help try to answer, Terry. And your point's well taken. A question that we often get is, how hard is it to move our information over from our current site to our new Kiwanis website? And that's probably part of that's going to be in the eye of the beholder. If your club has a ton of content on it, it's probably going to take a little while to do. Unfortunately, there's no migration tool that you can use to move one to the other automatically. A lot of times it's just bringing up one site and bringing up the page for your new one and copying and pasting that information over. But I've had a lot of clubs that say, hey, it took us like, a couple of days to do it. And then other clubs have said, we have a lot of stuff on there, and it took us, 2 weeks, 30 days or whatnot. So Terry, has that been your experience so far as moving stuff over as well?
It's not bad. Like I've got my own 2 websites on WordPress that I've been playing with for the last 10 years.
Oh, okay.
So one of the other important things, I've spent many years on Toastmasters, and what happened there was they allowed, for the longest time, they allowed every club to have their own kind of custom web page. But the big problem was front facing to the public. The public got very, very confused and didn't know that there is one common Toastmasters because every website looked the same. So I think this is an excellent way to go. They have the same template sort of called Free Toast Host. And yeah, it just brands everything, just like you said. It's one Kiwanis, so that the public, they know it's not a different kind of Kiwanis when they see different websites.
Yeah.
So
And
the
it's hard to
branding,
it's hard to thread that needle. We want to make sure that we have things for clubs look consistent,
yep,
no
it's
pink flamingos or neon text or anything like that, but we still
yeah,
want to make it customizable enough for clubs to kind of put their own stamp on things. So
yeah.
not saying that we've perfected it or anything, but we're certainly, that's kind of what we shoot for, is kind of creating a middle ground for those sorts of things. So
Yeah,
it's great. But
the rotator picks, I swore I saw them 2 or 3 days ago in the menu under appearance, I think header customize. And I started looking today, and you must have switched them off already.
sure.
Gladys,
Yeah,
Thanks.
I'll double check just to
Gladys
make
has
sure,
a
but I
question.
don't
Gladys
feel
has
that.
a
Yeah,
question.
Gladys?
Hey, Bryce, I'm just wondering if we choose to go with this program, like to sign up for the website and that, how quickly, I just want to understand the process. So we complete the application, we say we want to get the website, we'll get connected to you or somebody else as the trainer. We identify within our club who's going to be the webmaster, and then there'd be the training. There'd be a training session with say there's 2 or 3 people in our club that want to be involved.
Sure. So how kind of the process of it would be, you would fill out the form, and as part of that filling out the form, you're going to indicate who kind of the point person, the web administrator, is going to be for the site. Once we receive that, again, within 3 to 5 business days, we would create your site. We would set up that web administrator as the primary user for that. We would then send in an encrypted email your site domain and also your login information, or the web administrator's login information. That individual could then, at that point, go in, access the dashboard of the site that we've created for them, and add additional users. Training is really self-led, on a kind of a asynchronous schedule. So we've posted all our tutorial information online so that you can kind of go through it at your own pace. Obviously, it would be hard, it'd be hard for you to attend an event probably that was available to everybody, else, especially when we look at it globally. So we've put all that out there so that folks can go through it. It's kind of a module 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sort of thing. And so that would take you through. But we haven't done that just so we can say, okay, you're on your own. And if at any point you hit a roadblock or a snag and you're like, I'm not sure what's going on here, at that point, you would reach out to us, since I think we probably have a gap in the district trainer selection for the district, which you guys aren't alone in that. We have other districts that are like that as well. Folks come and go, obviously. So Gladys is kind of, you go through that that cadence of kind of learning through those modules. If at any point you're like, I did this the way it told me to, and it's not doing what it says it should be doing, can you take a look at it? We will be glad to take a look and jump in, try to answer those questions for you. I've been scheduling these kind of one-on-one calls with folks throughout the last 4 months. We are happy to try to support you that way. We don't want you to feel like you're just on an island doing all of this. So probably going to take a little heavier lift setting up the site, because you got to populate it with all that content. But once you're done kind of doing that part of it, I think you'll find the site will be relatively easy to maintain going forward. So
It sounds like it. Thanks, Bryce. That's
yeah,
clear.
sure. Other questions? I don't see any hands raised, but certainly you could unmute yourself or anything specific in the chat there.
so I see, Terry, that from your comments that you've started this process with Northmount with switching their website. They weren't a Portal Buzz user, but
No,
but
we
you're
w-
reshaping things. So you're finding it fairly straightforward, but you've had
yeah,
experience with WordPress and
I've had
website.
Yeah, I've
Okay.
worked a lot with WordPress on my websites, like I said, almost 10 years. And yeah, WordPress is really nice. And I found this is a great idea. I loved it. So I've got a lot of the pages populated already. One or two little technical glitches, but that's to be expected. So I'm gonna work on that slowly.
So
But
what would be your sense then for somebody without that website experience? Do you think it's still going to be like Gladys? I don't know, Gladys, do you have experience with website creation and like Terry said, or you're saying
No, I haven't created, but one of our members has used WordPress, so she has that experience. So she'll probably be key in helping us if we run into some local glitches.
Yeah. So you think it's
Yeah,
going to be a fairly, like Bryce, your comments throughout were, we want to make it as simple and straightforward. This isn't for people who are experts in, that they do this as for a living kind of thing. This is for people who volunteer and have other skills and talents.
Yeah, if you
Yeah,
if
it's
you
true.
have WordPress experience outside of Kiwanis or outside of this offering, probably if you sign up with the Kiwanis site, you're going to be surprised, like, oh, this is much more like straightforward and streamlined than what I've experienced with other WordPress. And that's by design. Just as Joanne said, we want this to be as easy to use by the broadest group of members as possible. And so there are going to be some real power users kind of at the upper end that are going to be like, this isn't as complex as I would like it to be. I have a lot of experience with WordPress. I want this to do all these cool bang whistle kind of things. And if that's the case, then, we certainly understand that. But again, we've tried to create something which is free, has no cost to clubs, that is applicable to the broadest group of individuals as possible. And so, hopefully we can, it'll have value for the most.
And
segment.
WordPress is the most widely used platform in the world.
Yep.
And there's the other beauty of WordPress is there is tons of free training and info on the web on it. It's all free. It's probably one of the most supported platforms for websites.
Sounds good.
Any other questions I can answer? No? Well, I want to say thank you very much. Ken, I know you probably have some outro statements to make, but again, I will provide the slide deck to both Ken and Joanne to distribute to you as you'd see fit. My contact information is in the chat there. It's also on the last slide of the presentation as well. So please feel free, if you're not quite sure after this conversation and you still have questions, reach out to me and let me know how we can try to answer those. But I know that whether your club has a site on a service that is going to close or whether your club is just looking at starting their newest one, we really feel like this is a good option, a good offer, and we want to help support it as much as possible. So I appreciate everybody taking some time this evening to let me talk at you, and hopefully this has been of value. But let me know how we can support you in the future.
Okay, thanks, Bryce. Yeah, the outro is, and maybe everybody's in the same boat. Head is certainly spinning with all of the possibilities that you've mentioned. Thinking about it, you're right. The look of Portal Buzz was tired, and the functionality in some respects limited. There's a whole world of possibilities with what you've laid out. So thank you for spending the time going over it. And you've certainly, I think, allayed some of the immediate concerns. It's great to hear about that export functionality that makes it really simple. And the fact that we, can explore different options for with the plugins to you pick and choose what what we want to use for member and volunteer engagement. Really appreciate you going over this with us, and I'm sure you'll be very busy answering questions over the next couple of months. So appreciate you taking the time, Bryce.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Look forward to talking to you all more.